Our world is a place of incredible wonder and profound mystery. Vast oceans cover most of our planet, their depths holding secrets we have yet to uncover. But there is one particular stretch of the Atlantic Ocean that has captured our collective imagination like no other. It is a place known by many names: the Devil's Triangle, the Limbo of the Lost, but most famously, the Bermuda Triangle. For decades, this region has been at the center of chilling stories and baffling disappearances. Ships and planes, it is said, enter this zone and simply vanish, leaving behind no wreckage, no survivors, and no answers. It is a modern legend, a puzzle that continues to fascinate and frighten us in equal measure. The allure of the Bermuda Triangle lies in the unknown. It represents a place where the normal rules of our world seem to bend or break entirely. Compasses spinning wildly, communications cutting out without warning, and calm seas turning into monstrous storms in the blink of an eye. These tales have been passed down through generations, growing with each telling, until the triangle has become a symbol of nature's strange power and our own vulnerability. We are a curious species, driven to explore and understand. When faced with a mystery so deep and persistent, we cannot help but wonder what forces might be at play in this enigmatic corner of our world. The legend as we know it today truly began to form in the mid-20th century. Magazine articles and books started to connect a series of unrelated incidents, weaving them into a single terrifying narrative. They painted a picture of a hungry void in the ocean, a place that swallows travelers whole. This idea took root in the public consciousness, fueled by a human fascination with the supernatural and the unexplained. The Bermuda Triangle became a household name, a topic of conversation that could spark both fear and intense curiosity. It tapped into our primal anxieties about being lost, about disappearing without a trace, and about facing forces far beyond our control or comprehension. Even now, in an age of satellite technology and global positioning systems, the mystery endures. Strange lights in the sky, ghost ships drifting on silent waves, and pilots sending one last confused message before being lost forever. It is a story that refuses to die, partly because it challenges our understanding of the planet we call home. We like to believe we have mapped every corner of our world, but the Bermuda Triangle reminds us that there are still places shrouded in shadows. It asks a simple yet profound question: are there still mysteries on Earth that science cannot yet explain? When we think of a place, we usually imagine clear borders on a map. But the Bermuda Triangle is different. It is a place more of legend than of geography, and its boundaries are famously undefined. Most people agree on its three corners. The first point is on the sunny island of Bermuda, a small British territory in the North Atlantic. The second point is in Miami, on the southern coast of Florida in the United States. The third and final point is in San Juan, the capital of Puerto Rico. If you draw lines connecting these 3 points on a map, you create a vast triangle covering a significant portion of the ocean. However, this is where the agreement ends. The size and exact shape of the Bermuda Triangle change depending on who is telling the story. Some writers and investigators have drawn its lines much wider, stretching them further north towards the coast of the United States, or further south into the Caribbean Sea. Others have included the entire Gulf of Mexico within its mysterious influence. This lack of a single official definition is part of what makes the legend so powerful. It is not a place you can neatly outline or avoid. It is a fluid, shifting zone of danger, its borders expanding to include almost any incident that happens nearby. Official bodies like the United States Board on Geographic Names do not recognize the Bermuda Triangle as a real place. If you look at an official map of the world's oceans, you will not find it labeled. To sailors and pilots who navigate these waters every day, it is simply a part of the Atlantic Ocean, no different from any other. The weather can be unpredictable, the currents strong, but these are known challenges of the sea. They follow their charts and their instruments, not the shadowy lines of a mythical triangle. For governments and maritime organizations, the Devil's Triangle is a work of fiction, a creation of storytellers, not a genuine geographic location. This vagueness is crucial to the survival of the legend. Because its borders are not fixed, believers can attribute almost any disappearance in the wider region to the triangle's mysterious power. A ship lost hundreds of miles away can be pulled into the narrative. This flexibility allows the story to grow and adapt, absorbing new incidents and reinforcing the idea of a vast, dangerous area. The Bermuda Triangle exists more strongly in our minds and in our stories than it does on any physical map. It is a realm of imagination, a concept rather than a concrete place, which makes it all the more difficult to prove or disprove. The story of the Bermuda Triangle is often traced back centuries, long before it ever had a name. Even Christopher Columbus, the famous explorer who sailed across the Atlantic in 1492, recorded strange happenings in this part of the world. As his ships sailed through the area we now call the Triangle, he wrote in his logbook about some very unusual events. One night, he noted that his compass was behaving strangely. The needle was no longer pointing to the North Star, but to a different position. This was deeply unsettling for sailors who relied entirely on their compasses for navigation. It was as if the very laws of nature were failing them. On that same voyage, Columbus and his crew witnessed another peculiar sight. He described seeing a great flame of fire fall from the sky and crash into the sea in the distance. This was seen by everyone on board, a mysterious and awe-inspiring event that they could not explain. Was it a meteor burning up in the atmosphere, or something else entirely? To the sailors, who were already nervous about sailing into the unknown, these events must have felt like ominous warnings. These early accounts, from one of history's most famous voyages, have become a key part of the Bermuda Triangle's origin story, suggesting its mysteries are as old as our exploration of the Americas. Over a century later, another famous incident occurred that would add to the region's growing reputation. In 1609, a fleet of English ships set sail for the new colony of Jamestown in Virginia. The flagship of this fleet was a vessel named the Sea Venture. As it passed through the waters east of Bermuda, the fleet was struck by a hurricane of terrifying force. The storm was so violent that it separated the Sea Venture from the other ships. For days, the crew fought to keep the ship from sinking as it was battered by monstrous waves and powerful winds. The ship was taking on water faster than they could pump it out. Miraculously, just as the crew was about to give up hope, they spotted land. The captain, Sir George Somers, deliberately steered the damaged ship onto the reefs of a nearby island to prevent it from sinking. That island was Bermuda. All 150 people on board survived the shipwreck. They were presumed lost at sea by everyone else, but they had actually found a temporary home on the uninhabited island. Their incredible story of survival against all odds, born from a violent storm in the heart of the Triangle, became legendary. Shakespeare's play The Tempest is even thought to have been inspired by this very shipwreck, adding a touch of literary magic to the region's history. As the age of sail continued, the stories from this part of the Atlantic grew stranger. One of the most enduring tales is that of the Ellen Austin, an American ship sailing in 1881. The story goes that while on its way to New York, the Ellen Austin came across another ship drifting aimlessly in the ocean. It was a schooner, fully intact, but with no one on board. The captain of the Ellen Austin decided to place a small prize crew on the abandoned vessel, with the goal of sailing it back to port alongside his own ship. It seemed like a fortunate discovery, a chance to salvage a perfectly good ship. The two ships set sail together, but a storm soon separated them. When the weather cleared a couple of days later, the Ellen Austin once again found the mysterious schooner, but once again it was completely empty. The prize crew that had been placed on board had vanished without a trace. The legend has two different endings. In one version, the terrified captain of the Ellen Austin abandoned the ghost ship and sailed away as fast as he could. In another, he placed a second crew on board, only for the ship to disappear forever in another fog bank. Whatever the true story, the tale of the Ellen Austin became a classic ghost ship legend of the Bermuda Triangle. The mysteries of the Triangle were not limited to old sailing ships. In the modern era, one of the biggest and most baffling disappearances was that of the USS Cyclops. This was not a small vessel. It was a massive United States Navy cargo ship, over 540 feet long. In March 1918, during World War I, the Cyclops set sail from Brazil, carrying a heavy load of manganese ore. It made a brief, unscheduled stop in Barbados and then headed for Baltimore. It was last heard from on March 4th. After that, the ship and its 306 crew members and passengers were never seen or heard from again. The disappearance of the USS Cyclops was a profound shock. An extensive search of the sea found absolutely nothing. No wreckage, no lifeboats, not even an oil slick. The ship had simply vanished. At the time, since America was at war, some suspected it had been sunk by a German submarine. But Germany, even after the war, denied having any knowledge of the ship. Other theories suggested that the massive vessel might have been capsized by a sudden powerful storm, or that its heavy cargo might have shifted, causing it to roll over. To this day, the loss of the USS Cyclops remains the single largest loss of life in United States Navy history, not involving combat, a silent giant tomb somewhere at the bottom of the sea. Perhaps no single event is more responsible for creating the Bermuda Triangle legend than the disappearance of Flight 19. On a clear afternoon on December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers took off from a base in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This was a routine training mission. The 14 men on board were all experienced pilots and crew members. Their flight plan was to head east over the ocean, conduct bombing practice, and then return to base. It was a simple triangular flight path that they had flown many times before. But on this day, something went terribly wrong. A few hours into the flight, the control tower received disturbing radio messages from the flight leader. He sounded confused and disoriented. He reported that both of his compasses were not working properly. He said he was lost and could not see land, even though they should have been able to see the Florida coast. "Everything is wrong. Strange," he was heard saying. "We can't be sure of any direction. Even the ocean doesn't look as it should." The control tower tried to guide them back, but the pilots seemed unable to get their bearings. Their last messages grew fainter as they flew further out to sea, low on fuel. As darkness fell, the 5 planes of Flight 19 were presumed to have run out of fuel and crashed into the rough Atlantic Ocean. But the mystery did not end there. In a desperate attempt to find the missing airmen, the Navy immediately launched a massive search and rescue operation. One of the search planes was a Martin Mariner flying boat, a large aircraft carrying a crew of 13 men. This plane, known as a flying gas tank because of the large amount of fuel it carried, took off into the night to search the last known position of Flight 19. But just 20 minutes after takeoff, it too disappeared from radar. A ship in the area reported seeing a huge explosion in the sky at the exact time and place the Martin Mariner vanished. It is widely believed that the search plane suffered a catastrophic explosion in mid-air, a known risk for that type of aircraft. But for believers in the Triangle's power, this was too much of a coincidence. In a single night, 5 military bombers and a large rescue plane had all been lost. An enormous search by hundreds of ships and planes over the following days found absolutely no trace of Flight 19, no wreckage, no life rafts, nothing. The 5 planes and the 14 men aboard them had vanished, as if into thin air, cementing the Bermuda Triangle's place in modern mythology. When faced with a mystery as compelling as the Bermuda Triangle, human imagination often runs wild. One of the most popular and fantastic theories is that the disappearances are caused by leftover technology from the lost city of Atlantis. According to this idea, the legendary continent of Atlantis was located in this part of the world before it sank beneath the waves thousands of years ago. Believers suggest that powerful energy crystals or other advanced Atlantean devices still lie on the ocean floor. From time to time, they say, these devices activate, creating powerful energy fields or vortexes that interfere with modern ships and planes. causing their instruments to fail and pulling them into another dimension or to the bottom of the sea. Another set of theories looks not to the bottom of the ocean, but to the sky above. Some people believe that the Bermuda Triangle is a hotspot for extraterrestrial activity. In this view, alien spacecraft, or UFOs, are responsible for the strange events. The theory suggests that aliens may be abducting ships and planes along with their crews for study or other unknown purposes. Proponents of this idea point to reports of strange lights seen in the sky around the time of some disappearances. They imagine the triangle as a kind of portal or gateway used by visitors from other worlds, a place where the veil between our reality and theirs is thin. These ideas, while exciting, are not supported by any scientific evidence. There is no proof that a technologically advanced city like Atlantis ever existed, let alone that its ancient power sources are still active. Archaeologists and geologists have studied the ocean floor extensively and have found no signs of such a sunken continent in that region. Similarly, while many people report seeing unidentified flying objects, there has never been any concrete proof linking aliens to the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. These explanations belong more to the world of science fiction and fantasy than to the world of factual investigation. They are captivating stories, but they remain just that, stories. Scientists and serious investigators dismiss these supernatural theories. They argue that there is no need to invent fantastic explanations when more logical ones are available. The idea of energy crystals and alien abductions makes for a thrilling narrative, but it distracts from the real, natural forces that shape our planet. For every person who believes in a paranormal cause, there is a scientist who looks for answers in the weather, the geology, and the simple reality of human error. These otherworldly theories continue to be popular because they are more exciting than the mundane truth, offering a sense of wonder and cosmic mystery in an increasingly understood world. While stories of Atlantis and aliens are entertaining, scientists offer more grounded explanations for the events in the Bermuda Triangle. One of the most important factors is the region's notoriously volatile weather. The area is known as a breeding ground for some of the most powerful storms on Earth. Hurricanes and tropical storms form quickly here, creating immense waves and terrifying winds that can overwhelm even large modern ships. The Gulf Stream, a powerful ocean current that flows through the triangle, is like a river within the ocean. It can be incredibly turbulent and can create sudden, steep waves that can capsize a vessel in minutes. Many of the disappearances can likely be attributed to these extreme and unpredictable weather conditions. Another scientific theory focuses on the Earth's magnetic field. The Bermuda Triangle is one of only two places on the planet, the other being near Japan, where true north and magnetic north line up. Normally, a compass needle points to magnetic north, which is slightly different from the geographic North Pole, true north. Navigators must account for this difference, called magnetic declination. In the Bermuda Triangle, however, this declination can be zero. Some have theorized that this agonic line can cause confusion for navigators and might interfere with compasses. While modern navigation relies on GPS, older incidents, like that of Flight 19, could have been complicated by pilots becoming disoriented due to compass issues combined with other factors. A more recent and intriguing theory involves large deposits of methane gas trapped beneath the seabed. This theory suggests that a landslide or seismic activity on the ocean floor could suddenly release a massive bubble of methane gas. This gas would rush to the surface, dramatically decreasing the density of the water above it. A ship happening to be in that exact spot would instantly lose its buoyancy and sink like a stone, leaving no time for a distress call. If the gas cloud was large enough and rose into the air, it could also potentially ignite, causing an explosion or displace the oxygen, causing aircraft engines to stall. While this is scientifically plausible, there is no direct evidence that this has ever happened to a specific ship or plane in the triangle. Ultimately, the most likely explanation for the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle is a combination of these natural factors and simple human error. This is a very busy area for shipping and air traffic. With more vessels and planes crossing this patch of ocean, it is statistically more likely that accidents will happen here. Bad weather, equipment failure, and mistakes in navigation are common causes of accidents at sea all over the world. Many of the famous stories have been exaggerated over time, and some of the vanished ships and planes were later found to have been lost for entirely ordinary, though tragic, reasons. The real mystery may not be what is happening in the Triangle, but why we are so eager to believe it is extraordinary. So, why does the legend of the Bermuda Triangle continue to hold such a powerful grip on our imagination? It persists because it is a perfect story. It combines the thrill of the unknown, the awe of nature's power, and the chilling possibility of supernatural forces at work. The stories are dramatic and full of suspense, making them far more memorable than a dry report about a ship sinking in a storm. The very name, the Devil's Triangle, is designed to send a shiver down the spine. In a world where science has explained so much, the Triangle remains one of the few places where we can still imagine that magic and mystery are real. The legend is also kept alive by media and popular culture. Every few years, a new book, documentary, or movie comes out, retelling the classic tales, and sometimes adding new, unsubstantiated incidents to the list. These retellings often leave out the boring but important details, like the fact that many mysterious disappearances happened during severe, well-documented storms. They focus on the spooky elements, the confused radio calls, the spinning compasses, the lack of wreckage, because that is what makes the story compelling. The legend has become a self-perpetuating cycle. The more we hear about it, the more we believe, and the more we want to hear. But when we look at the facts, is the Bermuda Triangle really more dangerous than other parts of the ocean? According to the US Coast Guard, Lloyd's of London, a major maritime insurer, and many other experts, the answer is no. They have stated that the number of ships and planes lost in this region is not unusually high when you consider the vast amount of traffic that passes through it every day. Accidents happen in all oceans. The North Sea, for example, has treacherous weather and has seen many shipwrecks, but it does not have a spooky nickname. The Bermuda Triangle is simply a busy and sometimes stormy patch of sea that has been given a legendary status. In the end, the Bermuda Triangle may be more of a psychological space than a physical one. It represents a frontier of human knowledge, a reminder that despite all our technology, the natural world is still vast, powerful, and, at times, deadly. The stories serve as modern cautionary tales, blending fact and fiction into a narrative that is both thrilling and humbling. Whether its secrets are born of strange gases, rogue waves, or simply our own imagination, the Devil's Triangle will likely continue to fascinate us for many years to come. It is a mystery we seem to enjoy not having solved, a dark corner of the map where anything still feels possible.